away to the other side of the studio because Emma James is here for a bit of Media Watch. Hi, Emma. You're going to be starting us off then with some of the different tactics out there to try and combat that plague that is smoking.
Yes, absolutely, because it is World No Tobacco Day, and there are a lot of very predictable messages out there, it has to be said. The UN tweeting this from the World Health Organization. Tobacco is unique. It's the only product that kills half of its consumers, which is quite an interesting statistic, it has to be said. What is particularly interesting, though, is that one tobacco firm is actually joining in on this call to reduce smoking. Together we can unsmoke the world, says Philip Morris International, well known, of course, for making cigarettes. Not sure that it's grammatically correct, but we'll leave that aside for the moment. Now, the purpose of this does become very clear when you look at some of their other tweets on the subject. They say, if you don't smoke, don't start. If you smoke, quit. If you don't quit, change. And it is that word change that really is the key to why they're pushing this slightly odd message for a cigarette maker. They're actually asking people to change it from World No Tobacco Day to World No Smoking Day, because they don't see the problem being in the tobacco but in the smoking. They've even produced a little whizzy video talking about how people should believe in the alternatives that are out there and that you can actually switch to something that's more healthy for you. They have invested $6 billion in alternatives. Strangely vague, though, about what exactly those alternatives are. They do talk a little bit about e-cigarettes and saying that they're looking to improve them to make it a better experience for smokers. But it's probably worth bearing in mind when they say that they're coming up with alternatives, that they used to advertise cigarettes in this way, saying that it was scientifically proven that they were less irritating to the nose and throat than other makes of cigarettes. And this advert finishes with the words, far finer flavour plus far more protection. Protection from what? I'm not entirely sure. Now, France, too, is making a move on the issue of smoking. Following on from the ban of smoking in public places in 2012, they are actually making quite a few parks tobacco-free. Strasbourg already banned it in all public places. Paris had trialled it. Now they're going to be introducing it in 52 parks across the French capital. They are going to give people a few weeks to get used to the idea. Then people will start to be fined 38 euros a pop if they are caught lighting up in one of these parks. Some, though, want it to go even further. This person saying, what about those cafe terraces? Saying that non-smokers are actually obliged to shut themselves away inside the cafe in the heat of summer because of all the smokers who are outside on the terraces. This person thinks it's the nanny state gone mad. The queen of prohibitions, clearly meaning the Parisian mayor Anne Hidalgo there, strikes again, he says. Well, this person, it's the sort of whataboutism, saying, I've had enough of cars in Paris. That's the real problem in our beautiful capital. But they say it's easier just to hit out at the smokers. And there's a lot of that around, people talking about pollution from aircraft, dogs peeing in parks, people peeing in parks as well. So a lot of people trying to sort of really point the finger elsewhere when it comes to the sort of less civilised areas of Parisian parks. Marseille as well is getting in on the act by banning smoking on several of its beaches. And there is an amazing statistic in this piece that talks about the fact that 500 million cigarette butts every year go into the sea from that part of France's coastline alone. So it is something that really does need to be tackled.
I have to say, though, I can't quite imagine Paris's bistros without people smoking cigarettes. That is a Parisian institution right there, Emma.
Indeed.
Let's go somewhere quite different now. Well, we're staying in Paris, but we're talking about pedestrians getting annoyed with something new. Tell us what's happening.
Yes, well, there's been an ongoing row over those scooters that you can rent in Paris. They litter the pavements, they nearly run over the pedestrians. Paris authorities got so upset about this that they actually talked about possibly banning them unless they could abide by a good code of conduct. But there is now a new threat on the way. Take a look at this advert. It looks like a bad joke, it has to be said, but it is real. It's a Swedish startup by the name of Kangaroo.
Okay.
They are trialling this in Malmo and Stockholm this summer and say if it's successful, they'll be rolling out it in Paris in September. They call it fun, healthy and 100% emission-free. I'm not sure that that includes human sweat in that particular one, because it does look like hard work. How far can you get on a pogo stick? I'm really not sure. Lots of people were very unhappy about this, but the company seems to have quite a sense of humour. They even think that people will be able to use it while out walking their dogs in Paris. And also they've responded to a French television station which talked about the bâton sauteur, the pogo sticks that will be invading our towns, and they replied saying, should have stayed in French class. In conclusion, we're super excited to come to Paris. Thanks for your love and support. They are absolutely ignoring all the haters and saying they are going to be going ahead with this. We'll have to wait and see whether it actually comes to fruition in Paris.
I think maybe fingers crossed. I think it sounds like quite a fun option for Paris this summer, Emma.
I'll leave it to you.
Thank you very much. Emma James there with Media Watch on the programme. Time then for a short break from us here in the studio, but don't go away. I'll have all the headlines for you very shortly.